Russia's drone supremacy, inside the world's biggest UAV factory, and the coming storm for Ukraine in July 2025, as the world watched with cautious optimism for signs of ceasefire talks between Russia and Ukraine, a darker reality began to unfold. Beneath the surface of diplomatic speculation, the Ukraine war entered a new, perilous phase, one driven not by tanks and artillery, but by an overwhelming swarm of unmanned aerial vehicles. Drones, cheap, scalable, and relentless, are now at the center of Russia's offensive strategy, and a chilling new revelation has made this clear: the unveiling of the world's largest drone manufacturing plant, deep in the Russian heartland. A relentless new normal. For 6 times in July alone, Russia has launched over 400 drones and missiles on Ukraine in a single night. This is not a glitch in the data or a one-time escalation. The numbers, once unthinkable, have become disturbingly routine. As Ukraine grapples with an increasingly dire shortage of air defense missiles, Russia has normalized mass drone assaults as its weapon of choice. The defining moment came earlier this month, when Russia unleashed 728 drones and missiles in one night, a new record in the 40-month-old war. While many initially viewed this as a statistical anomaly, the trend has proven otherwise. Moscow's capacity and willingness to unleash mass drone barrages night after night have introduced a grim reality: attrition warfare in the skies. The Yelabuga revelation, in a rare move, the Russian Ministry of Defense offered the world a glimpse inside the now notorious Yelabuga drone factory. Nestled in the Tatarstan region, about 1,100 kilometers from the Ukrainian border, the facility is more than just an assembly line, it's the centerpiece of a strategic transformation. The video footage, broadcast by the Defense Ministry's TV channel Zvezda, was a carefully orchestrated message. On display were endless rows of matte black Geran 2 drones, the Russian-made iteration of Iran's infamous Shah Ed-136 kamikaze drones. Their ominous black coating suggests a new emphasis: night warfare. The symbolism was unmistakable. Moscow is sending a message to Ukraine, to NATO, to the world that its drone war machine is just getting started. The factory, which began as a special economic zone aimed at boosting science and business, has been fully repurposed for war. It now produces hundreds of drones daily, with the capability to scale production far beyond current levels. Alarmingly, much of this production appears to involve a young workforce, reportedly including teenagers. Scaling the skies. Russia's drone production surge. According to the video narration, President Vladimir Putin has plans to replicate the Yelabuga model nationwide, and the results are already being felt on the battlefield. Russia currently produces an estimated 5,000 long-range drones per month. Yelabuga alone is believed to have churned out over 18,000 Geran 2 drones in the first half of 2025. The numbers are staggering and growing. In the past 2 months, Russia has nearly doubled its daily drone barrage on Ukraine. May 2025, 3,835 drones, and 117 missiles. June 2025, 5,438 drones, and 239 missiles. As of the 21 street of 4,929 drones, and 148 missiles month. Each night, a fresh wave. On July 9th alone, Ukraine was hit by 728 drones and missiles, targeting cities from Lutsk to Kyiv. And the escalation doesn't stop there. Toward 2,000 drones a night. The most ominous projection comes not from the Russian state, but from Western intelligence. Major General Christian Freuding of the German Ministry of Defense recently warned that Russia could soon launch up to 2,000 drones in a single night. The Institute for the Study of War ISWAL echoes this prediction, estimating that if the current rate of growth continues, Russia may reach this capability by November 2025. This scale of drone warfare would overwhelm even the most advanced air defense systems. The intent is clear: to saturate, exhaust, and eventually break Ukraine's ability to defend itself. A war of morale and optics. Bend Russia's drone escalation lies a deeper psychological strategy. This is not just about territory or military targets. It's about breaking the Ukrainian spirit and the resolve of its Western allies. The ISWL has assessed that these barrages are carefully calculated attempts to demoralize the Ukrainian armed forces and terrify the civilian population. And it seems to be working. Cities are living in fear, nights are filled with the sound of explosions, and air raid sirens are no longer moments of panic, but part of daily life. A report from the Lowy Institute argues that, frustrated by a stalled summer offensive, Putin is now relying on psychological attrition. In place of tank assaults or infantry advances, he's sending message after message packaged in drone wings and explosive payloads designed to break morale. The economic trap for the West. Even as Ukraine receives Patriot missile defense systems from the United States, the cost-benefit ratio is skewed. A Patriot interceptor costs several $1 million. A Geran 2 drone costs only a few thousand. This is the economic asymmetry at the heart of modern drone warfare. Russia can spend cheaply and hit hard. The West, in defending Ukraine, spends exorbitantly just to keep pace. According to the Center for Strategic and International Studies (CSIS), this model is unsustainable. Russia's relentless use of low-cost drones signals a broader shift toward attrition warfare based on overwhelming air defense systems with sheer numbers, CSIS wrote. Western governments must innovate in economical defenses and tackle Chinese technology flows fueling Russian drone production. Chinese tech. The unspoken ally. While not officially part of the war, China plays a quiet, crucial role. Many of the microchips, guidance systems, and components used in Russian drones originate from Chinese suppliers. These are often rerouted through third-party countries or hidden in commercial shipments, making them difficult to regulate. If Russia's ability to scale its drone operations stems from factories like Yelabuga, its technological backbone is often tied to Chinese hardware. The West now faces a twofold challenge: stopping the drones and cutting off the supply lines that make them possible. Drones vs. air defenses, a game of numbers and military terms. Russia is engaging in saturation attacks, flooding Ukraine's airspace with so many drones that air defense systems become overwhelmed. Even advanced systems like the SAMP or T or Patriot struggle under this kind of numerical pressure. The Geran 2 drones, although not highly precise, are effective due to their sheer volume. Many act as decoys, drawing fire away from more critical assets or exposing the location of Ukraine's air defenses. Others carry payloads designed to destroy infrastructure, disrupt power grids, and create chaos in urban centers. The result is a dynamic in which quantity begins to outmatch quality, and unless Ukraine and its allies find a cost-effective way to counter this, the battlefield advantage will tilt heavily in Russia's favor. The moral dilemma. Young labor and war mechanism. A third unsettling revelation from the Yelabuga factory tour was the apparent presence of young workers, possibly teenagers, on the production floor. While Russian media presented this as a story of youthful patriotism, critics have raised ethical concerns. Are these workers volunteers? Are they trained professionals? Or is this another example of a militarized economy consuming its next generation in the service of statecraft? If the war economy is turning to high school labor to fuel the front lines, it signals just how deeply ingrained this conflict has become within Russian society. The normalization of war has reached even the most unlikely corners. Ukraine's next challenge: scaling defenses. Fast in response, Ukraine and its allies must pivot. The focus can no longer remain solely on supplying high-end weapons. The new battlefield requires new tools: mass-produced interceptors, AI-based drone swarms, directed energy weapons, and electromagnetic jamming systems. Israel, for instance, has shown some success in using laser-based defenses like the Iron Beam. The US is experimenting with microwave weapons capable of disabling entire swarms. These are the kinds of solutions Ukraine now desperately needs. Moreover, international cooperation must shift toward industrial innovation, creating scalable, cost-effective counter-drone systems that can meet the rising wave head-on. The bigger picture: drone warfare as the future of combat. Russia's drone saturation tactics are not just about this war. They're a case study in how the next global conflicts may unfold. Low-cost, autonomous weapons that can be produced in bulk, will increasingly define military power. Drones democratize warfare. They allow countries like Russia to project power far beyond their conventional means. In the same way that nuclear weapons once reshaped global strategy, drone swarms are now doing the same, only faster, cheaper, and more adaptable. The Yelabuga factory is not just a symbol of Russia's war economy, it's the template for a new kind of warfare. As Ukraine faces wave after wave of aerial assaults, the world must come to terms with the hard truth. The drone age has arrived. Russia, with its massive manufacturing capacity and psychological strategy, is rewriting the rules of 21st century warfare. From Yelabuga to Kyiv, from the shop floor to the battlefield, the war is no longer just about territory, it's about dominance in the air, in production, and in perception. And unless the world responds with innovation, collaboration, and urgency, Russia's message etched in drone wings and detonations will only grow louder.